very normal environment that we all feel very safe in, and then you bring something dark into it that just rips it apart.
No, it was a blast. He hasn't lost his touch, I'll tell you that.
This is it's like a dream for me, really. It really is.
It really is an engaging, frightening experience.
I have a theory that good storytellers are people who started off as being good audiences. I always think of my audience and what would thrill me right here? What would chill me right here? Oh my God, if this happened, I'd be so scared. What would happen right now if I was sitting in a theater where I would just go, oh my God, no, you know, and then it just comes to you, oh, this would really freak me out, meaning this would really freak you out. So I'd like to think that my films, whether they're horror films or dramas like Powder, or like inspirational films like Peaceful Warrior, are just me telling the story in the way that I think would most deeply affect me.
This is the first time I've ever worked with Victor Salva. He was terrific. I mean, basically, he's like one of the horror icon directors, having created the Jeepers Creepers franchise. Rosewood Lane came to me as a spec script from Victor Salva. He had written it a while ago, and I just got it as a cold submission about 2 years ago, and we really wanted to do it. Then basically he had another offer for it, so it kind of went away. Then it came back to me about around Christmas of 2010, and next thing I know, we're making the movie.
When I write a scene, I have written it in shots, and I know how I would shoot it. Not because I'm planning it, but it is happening as I write it. And I don't know if that's a special gift or not. It might even be a curse. That's how I write. I assume that's how any writer must write. It's happening in my head, and now I just have to put it down on paper, and that's kind of what I do. Okay, Cat.
I'm gonna try to see if this pat's better for you.
The great thing about doing a movie with Victor Salva is that he comes with an entire, literally cast and crew. Victor is one of those guys who is a director who sticks to the same people that has helped him throughout the years. So we literally have people who worked on the original Jeepers Creepers 2, Powder, Way of the Peaceful Warrior. I mean, it's basically almost the same crew.
Victor and I go back to 1999. There was a producer, in fact, Donnie and I both began working with Victor on the same project, something called Rites of Passage. And again, it was a producer that both of us knew who encouraged us to talk to him and see if he'd want to work with us. And ever since Rites of Passage, I've done every movie he's done since. And it's been a great relationship.
You know, I met Ed and Donnie on the same picture, Rites of Passage, and we've been together ever since. And it's probably two of the best communications I can get, because they get me as a storyteller and totally gets me as a storyteller.
This one is a shorter schedule, a little smaller in the budget range, and we're both wearing producer hats. I think it's looking really good. I mean, The teams come together, everybody's focused.
We got fantastic folks, and now I can really start to see the movie, and I'm excited, actually. I may not sound it because I'm a little tired, but I'm really excited.
The whole idea behind the movie is that it is suburbia, and Victor had come up with a tagline, "Where Evil Dwells." And so, once again, just like casting the Paperboy, he also wanted to cast the town, just not so obvious. So we looked all over the Los Angeles area, and finally Victor settled on Altadena because he thought that had the best look for a town that could be anywhere America, but at the same time, there's evil dwelling there, evil in the face of the paperboy.
Hi. Would you be interested in our special introductory offer of 1 free month of the Bugle?
Excuse me?
I'm Cam. I'm your paperboy.
Thank you, but no thanks.
When we started to cast the film, once again, Victor Salva is pretty much an auteur when it comes to that. He's very much like Francis Ford Coppola, who was also his mentor. He pretty much does almost everything in the movie, including casting. He and I were actually very involved in the casting of the movies, particularly The Paperboy.
It was really interesting the way that this whole thing happened for me. He saw a guest star that I did, an episode of a show called Lie to Me, and I just happened to watch the show, happened to watch that episode that I did, and I guess he thought I was somewhat, in his words, somewhat perfect for the part.
Some people, some powers that be, think he should be very scary and dark looking and creepy. Hitchcock cast against type. This boy should be beautiful, a sweet little boy next door who, when the first time she sees him, is like, oh my God, he's so beautiful. And it is a mask for a monster, which is just so delicious, you know, that's the way to go.
And sociopaths, there's no rhyme or reason. They picked a victim because they woke up that day and decided that's the guy or that's the gal I'm gonna get.
I was physically littler than I am now, and he was very vulnerable, extremely vulnerable. He was looking for something. He, but he presented himself with this exterior of kind of toughness, like people do, and especially teenagers do. And I'm reading the script, and I'm thinking about, I kept asking myself, what does he mean, like what you said, like somewhat perfect? I'm like, what? I don't understand that at all. And I had a million different ways of trying to play the scene that I had to audition for, and then I kind of just got a little bit frustrated, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just go in there and just do it however it feels right when I'm doing it, and just be me. I try to be myself as much as possible, because that way, if I do end up getting the job, it'll be a lot easier for me as an actor to allow myself to just put myself in there.
With the casting of The Paperboy, it was something that had to be done just perfectly. If we were to go with the obvious choice, then it turns into kind of a generic horror film. But the casting of this Paperboy, Victor decided that he wanted to go against type.
Did you know that less than half the people in this country read the newspaper anymore? Or that even less than half of that read books?
Get your foot out of my door.
I know. Trust me. Everybody looks at me the same way. It's okay.
I am not looking at you.
Come on, they're about as dark as eyes could get. Yeah, you see that? You can see yourself in them. They're kind of like tiny little mirrors.
If you don't get your foot out of my door right now, I'm going to call the cops.
Well, I could roll them in the back of my head, but I really don't think that's going to be any better.
Did you hear what I said?
Hi, my name is Cam. Would you like to subscribe to the newspaper?
Your foot. Move it now.
My character is Dr. Sunny Blake, who's very caring. I think she's pretty methodical, and I think she wants to believe the best in people. Victor was great. When I met him, he was very upfront with the fact that he wanted to collaborate and that he was, willing to hear me out on things. There are certain directors that you're not even gonna go there with. It's just not worth it. They're not amenable to it, or an actor's not really allowed to have ideas because they're just the actor. And that happens an awful lot. And Victor's quite the opposite.
Rose was wonderful. She was very sweet and very open and willing to really, get in there and work hard, and it was an enjoyable experience with her too.
We got on immediately, and she's a little firecracker, We did the scene 2 days ago, and it was just wonderful. It was a wonderful experience, and sometimes you get that thing that happens with another actor where you both go like, let's go for it, and it's unspoken, and you just decide, just get in it, let's be in it, let's share this together. And we had that happen. It was really lovely and unexpected, and brought out a whole bunch of different things that I think neither of us expected.
Don't.
Sonny, listen to me.
Shut up, Paula.
Sonny, stop digging. Stop.
You don't want to dig.
This is over.
Don't dig.
This is over.
You don't get to tell me that.
Ray and Victor and I had a really nice rhythm working together. And if one of us kind of didn't get quite one thing right, we just kept it going, and you just keep it spinning until you get there, you know. And but that was great, and that's one of the things I look forward to the most, because that's when you feel like a real collaborator in the story. It's like, this dialogue is great, and I always, you know, I'm very much of the school of text. Everything starts and ends with a text. If there's no text, there's nothing else. So you learn the text as it is, but it's great to have a writer who knows that there's actually a slight degree or two more that it can be taken up a notch.
You know, I'm old school detective. I still carry a 38 Saturday Night Special. I don't carry any of these Glock 9mm that all the young coppers do these days. So in that respect, I'm old school. I have some old detective sport coats and old shoes that are comfortable. Working with a much younger cop, and Tom, who plays my partner in the film.
Trying to sell me newspapers.
Who?
The paper boy.
Okay, she wants to press charges.
I didn't say that.
So, you think that he's a big fan of yours? That you think he's stalking you?
I don't know.
Well, did he ever threaten you in any way?
No.
Did he touch you?
No.
Your things. Did he go through some of your things?
He was in my house and in the cellar. Isn't that enough?
I'm just trying to get the facts straight, Miss Blake.
It's Dr. Blake, detective.
The first day of production was like any typical movie. It had both its smooth moments and its not so smooth moments, but they were quickly ironed out, and everything worked out okay.
All kinds of questions, folks.
This is Victor's first day on the set. We're so excited. Rosewood Lane, day number 1.
He's a great, fantastic visualizer. I've already got one idea. It's just like my editor. I've got a brilliant editor who helps me out with my ideas. When my ideas don't work, steps up and does something terrific.
Donnie's a lot of fun, but most importantly, he knows what he's doing, and he lights beautifully. So I think he gives a picture a much more handsome look. They're very in tune with each other, let's put it that way, and they can finish each other's sentences just about when it comes to what's going on in a particular scene, and how they want to approach it, and how they want to light it, and the feeling that they want, the ambiance that they want. They're very much in tune with each other. They were having worked together so often before.
He's very interesting to me because he has a really gentle sweetness about him as a person, and but he's so fixated on the lighting and then how everything looks. It's like he's it's just a whole different way of how I would look at something. He's looking at something and he's seeing how it can be shown to show this, or how a light could hit this and make this. I mean, the dude is just seeing all of it. He's envisioning all of it, and I don't know what's in his head, but what comes out across on screen is wonderful.
I love Don Fauntleroy. He's very talented, and he's so fast. And to be talented and fast is a rare gift. And it's cute every time he's ready. He says, "Governor." I'm not sure why he calls Victor Governor, but he does. And then Victor says, "Action." And they have this great shorthand with each other.
Victor is, we were discussing before about he's really a true filmmaker, and every picture is very personal to him, and so when he's directing, cuts out all the outside distractions, and but it's a very, very calm, very laid back set. He never gets too excited about things, and he loves actors. He has a wonderful way of communicating with them, and working with Victor's extremely enjoyable experience.
You guys, my very first feature film was produced by Francis Coppola, and I was very scared, and I asked him, what do I do? And he said, I'm going to give you a blessing. Before the first shot, get the whole crew together and cast, make them hold hands, and repeat after me. So it's worked on every film so far, so we have to say Puaba 3 times. Puaba.
Puaba. Puaba.
Everybody have a great shoot.
Yeah.
Even if you read a script of Victor's and then you see the movie, what he does on that next level of directing his own stuff is really phenomenal. There are lots of directors out there that write, and you read the script and then you see the movie, and there's really no difference. You go, oh yeah, I remember that. There's no, but you see his movies, even if you've read his script, and you're still surprised and shocked and moved, and even if you know what's coming, you'll still jump. So yeah, he kind of hits it on every level.
The physical part wasn't bad. I've done physical things. I've had some stunts in this movie, actually. It was the emotional aspect of it. Where is this guy right now? Remember he had some really bad stuff happen to him and to the woman he loves. So what Victor did was, instead of screaming, go get him, you're going to kill this guy, he let me have my space. He told everybody. Just kept saying, guys, the actor is working. Before we shot, give him 20, 30 seconds. I would ask Victor, give me 10 seconds. And he'd just quiet everybody down and allow me to do what I needed to do to get to the emotional level that was needed. And he's smart enough to know you can't drill that into an actor. An actor has to find those moments on his own. And if he doesn't, he's not doing his job.
It's not as bad as it looks. They said I'm good. They want me overnight, but it's just a mild concussion. What's wrong?
I've come so far from being that little girl who used to hide from her dad down in the cellar.
You're damn right you have.
When I saw that boy tonight, I felt like I was right back there in that basement, hiding from my dad and telling myself that he wasn't something evil.
Well, technically you were back in the basement.
I can't go through my life believing in the boogeyman.
It's not about that. It's not about what's good or evil. It's about what will hurt you and what won't.
Victor has such an eye with everything, like so many details. Like when I was, when I made the signs that said like Hickory Dickory Dock, I showed him or whatever. We both just kind of looking at each other on the dock, and I was like, he needs an exclamation point. He said, that's exactly what I was thinking. And I was like, yes. Because it's nice to know that even something that small, that we're on the same page. I just think that it kind of came together in its own way, and I really don't. I think I'll be very surprised with it when it comes out.
There's an interesting thing. I know that lots of people provide input. One of the things that I've always loved about Victor is that he's really a filmmaker. He's a true filmmaker. And one of my favorite scenes to describe is scene 25, if you want the statistic on it. It's the scene where Rose comes down the stairs, starts kind of puttering through some boxes, and then kind of sees this bike over in the corner by one of the windows in the basement. And she kind of stares at it. Car goes by, stares at it, starts backing up, and then a car goes by again, and the headlights reveal the paperboy in the background, standing ominously in the background. That is classic Victor.
We are for the first time, Ed and I are editing a movie non-linearly. We are jumping all over the script. We decided, after putting about the first 25 minutes of Rosewood Lane together, that there were days when we came in and said, oh God, I don't want to cut that scene today. I wish we were cutting this scene today. And suddenly I said, Ed, have you ever worked with a director where you just picked a scene you wanted to direct, you wanted to cut no matter where it was and cut it? And he goes, oh yeah, I've done that. He goes, well, why don't we try it? So we have tried that, and every day we have skipped all over the script, and it's really terrific.
One of the things that happened very early on with Victor, and one of the things that I'm very fond of, and it's something that I have a real belief in, is that if you want to make the big jumps work, if you want to make, whether it's in comedy, if you want to make the laughs work, in horror, if you want to make the scares work, the thing you got to do is you got to build the characters. And quite honestly, the thing that is the most enjoyable part of any of the horror films or any of the comedies that I've worked on is I really like to think that I'm very careful that a performance gets properly modulated and paid attention to, so that those are the things, if you put the audience into the mold of whatever the character is, then you can take the audience for the ride, and it works a lot better.
So you gonna let me take you out for one last fling?
I can't. I have to get up early and meet Barrett and the moving van.
Did you say Barrett?
Hurricane Marcia ripped through several more southern states.
Barrett? Barrett?
He called me yesterday, okay? Just said he missed me, wanted to see me.
Did you talk to him?
He's just helping me with the move.
This is the guy who you said should have his breeder's license revoked?
Just stop.
You were hating Barrett, not the city, and now you're moving out of the city and bringing Barrett with you? Sonny, stop. What are you doing?
I wish I knew.
I really prefer having Victor in the room, and it's there's, let's just say, within the realms of what editing is. I don't consider myself a set of hands by any stretch, but Victor and a couple of other people that I work with, it is my pleasure to make sure that whatever it is that I'm doing comes as some kind of conduit from what it is that they want to get. I pay a lot of attention. I do a lot of listening when I'm working with Victor. And I get a lot of leeway too. I mean, it's let's just say within the mechanical realm of editing, it's never that, okay, Mr. E calls you Mr. E, you cut here or something, or put that right there. I mean, there are those times when any director wants something to happen at a very, very specific moment. But for the most part, those are all the decisions that get made at my end, so that he can keep his vision of the film in the broadest sense, as broad as possible. I'm never going to ask a director, unless I'm just lost with them, and I think I've been around long enough to admit that, is, where do you want that cut? I'll take care of that, and if you don't like it, okay, we'll fix it.
You don't talk about him. You don't go to the police about him. You don't do anything that might attract his attention. Your father had a dog. It barked and chased the boy every time he came to deliver the paper. One night, your father found that dog nailed to that fence in your backyard. He'd done it, and your father knew it, and he really went after him.
Victor Salva and I have worked together. This is our 6th film that we've done, and Victor tends to send me scripts, and I think Rosewood Lane, I don't remember exactly, but it was quite a few years ago where he sent me the script, and I enjoyed reading it, and it kind of went in a vault somewhere, and then there was little inklings of it maybe about a year ago or something, and I reread the script. And generally that's how the process starts with Victor. So I sort of start thinking about it well before anything is shot. And that's just how it evolved. He just asked me to do the film, and I said yes. This is our 6th film together, so it's a really great I think, collaboration for both of us in that Victor is very involved in every degree of the film, from, you know, pre-production, shooting the movie, editing, being in the editing bay every day, hearing music. He's one of the few directors I work with that actually comes to the music mix. When we're mixing it for days, he'll come, sit there all day long. So on one hand, he's very involved, but on the other hand, he really lets me write the music. You know, he's not telling me, hey, put a bassoon here, put a clarinet here, or use this instrument there, or use this melody. So on one hand, it's great to have the direction because he really knows what he wants in terms of the character. And a lot of times we'll have some of the same ideas, but sometimes he might say, listen, I really need a tremendous amount of energy right here. Or there might be a scene where he says, listen, I know what I'm gonna do in the dubbing room. So on the dubbing stage here, I'm gonna really play these sound effects, so really lay low right here because we're gonna so it's kind of nice for me to know what's going on. So he might tell me, look, there's a voice over here, lay low, we'll have dialogue. So that's really helpful in terms of the framework of the score. I really kind of have a sense, and we really talk about it in spotting, what we're gonna do. And then I just write the music. I just go do and kind of create, you know, what I think musically fits what the film needs.
I think the audience is going to be very happy to see Victor getting back to his Jeepers Creepers roots. This goes back to exactly what Victor is known for, what Victor loves to do. He's created a brand new monster, one that we've never seen before, and I think the audience is going to just flip out over it.
The makeup of these crews that are thrown together for a few weeks at a time or a few months at a time, and you become so close and almost like a family on that project, and then the family breaks up, and some of them you see again, some of them you don't see again. But for that time that you're together, it's a very, rather intense experience.
This movie plays to a side of Victor that I wish he would develop, or had the opportunity to develop more. Jeepers is a great franchise, and it's so much fun. But there's a thriller element, and horror and thriller, they're very parallel. But thriller plays to a very different element of the horror genre, and this plays to that. And there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of character, and there's a lot of time taken to make it work. And I just hope the audience sits back, appreciates that the time it took was completely by design. We wanted your patience. We wanted you to sit there. We wanted to create this little world and then just have it kind of envelop you a little bit, so that once it got there and once these characters had just started coming through in all the ways that they come through, then I think you've got a really enjoyable, you've got a really great watch. It's not enjoyable, it's just a great movie, and it's a great watch.